Hello, welcome back. This is the first time I have shot a video in the new space. That isn't a vlog. Andrew left a bunch of podcasting mics on the desk and said, free to use them whenever you want, mate. So here I am, using a podcasting mic for what is going to be another Agony Aunt video. I thought it would be quite fitting that we get quite personal with the sound of my voice. With one of these agony aunts. So all the videos that I started doing that I was like, right, I'm going to make this a monthly thing, have not taken shape because I did that and then decided to move office and make myself incredibly busy, where I found it quite difficult to sustain a regular upload schedule. But it's all right because we're here and we're going to continue it because I'm settled in now, so it's all good. I went on the old Insta and I got your questions regarding your woes, and I thought, so I'm here to answer them with my opinion, with the way I would think about these things. So might not be everybody's cup of tea. Let's dive right in. How do I tell my tattoo hating parents that I just got a tattoo? I would just tell them that you got a tattoo and say I'm a grown-up and I can do what I want, and then being me, I might follow it up with my favourite phrase at the moment, which is, what you gonna do, shoot me? I don't know why I turned him into an Australian man, but yeah, I would just fucking tell them that you've got a tattoo. I'm a grown-up. I can make my own decisions and mistakes, and if you don't like it, then that's a you problem. I've always been like that though. I never let someone else's personal preferences obstruct the decisions that only affect me. You know what I mean? How to cope with change. Change is something that takes time. So I actually had therapy yesterday, and I was speaking to him about how I had quite a lot of anxiety and stress and spiraling. Like about 3 weeks ago, there was a 2-week period 3 or 4 weeks ago where I was just overthinking everything. Any little thing could trigger like quite a big stress response, and I was getting overwhelmed, and to be honest, I was just really worried about having another commitment, which is the office space. It's a huge change. I've gone from having an office space at my house that doesn't cost me anything. I only have to worry about my personal mortgage and personal bills, and then taking on a space which admittedly at some point we are hoping to generate an income from through studio hire, but take it on as a new financial commitment, life commitment, and what that entails. You know, I can't just all of a sudden just pack up and go traveling. I felt I pictured myself being very lonely in a big chasm of responsibilities and commitments in my life. And obviously being a single person now, I've only got me to look after me. But, you know, the other side of the coin to that is I wouldn't want someone else looking after me, if that makes any sense. Like, I like the fact that I'm an independent woman that looks after herself and her own assets. And, you know, my therapist was like, that's such a normal response to have to such a big change in your life. It takes 100 days for change to feel normal. So he said by June or July, whenever it was, you being in this office space and everything, you know, about it, whether it's like bills, outgoings, like the general like running and the routine of being here will just feel normal to you, and it won't phase or worry you anymore. But I'm already feeling a lot calmer and at peace with the idea. But to answer your question, change takes time to get used to, and it's often uncomfortable, and it makes us feel vulnerable and stressed and overwhelmed. But change it's always going to take time to make that change into a norm. Just be patient. Things will feel better in the not so distant future. How to get along with your best friend dating your ex. I'm over him, but feels disrespectful. Oof. Personally, I think that is fucking bad. I think that's crossing a fucking line, man. I would never be comfortable with a best friend dating one of my exes. No, I'm sorry. How to get along with your best friend dating your ex? That's just not okay. If one of my best mates, like Danny, started seeing my ex Phil, I know she's married and she has a baby, look, this has never happened, but hypothetically, if Danny started dating Phil, what the fuck? No! You are in your right mind to feel disrespected, because I fucking would. How do you stop dreaming about an ex nearly 2 years later? It's actually pissing me off right now. I don't think you're in control of that. I have dreams about my exes, like, not all the time, but, you know, they pop up. I have dreams about exes from fucking 10 years ago sometimes. It happens. I don't think it means anything. It doesn't mean anything. It's your brain. It's just your brain formulating a story in your head. So I wouldn't think into that. It's just, you've got no control over your dreams. Don't worry about it. How do I make friends in my late 20s? In brackets, what the fuck? So difficult. Yeah, I'd have to agree. Making friends in your later years is quite difficult. I think what works, quite honestly, is actually just putting yourself out there a bit more and being more open to spending time with new people and making suggestions. Obviously only if it's sort of like a mutual feeling, like you're both feeling, because, you know, you don't want to be like forcing yourself onto somebody and make it uncomfortable. But I made friends through my gym, through my boot camp, which I talk about quite a lot. And the people that I made friends with at the gym, I spend time with. I've got a girl date next week with one of the ladies from the gym, which I'm looking forward to. Clubs, activities. I also saw a group of people. I haven't done it yet, but there was a group of people in my local park that all seemed to meet up at the same time. I think they were all strangers, but they like formed this unofficial dog walking club, and I'm gonna try and get in with them lot as well. It's just talking to people and getting to them. There's also apps in which you can make friends, like Bumble have Bumble BFF, which is quite cool. So you can always look into that. That's quite fun. But it is difficult. You feel almost like that people have got their groups, then they're all settled, they've got their partners and their families and their lives or whatever, and you feel like you don't want to step on any toes. But I think at the end of the day, I don't think that that's actually necessarily true at all. Like, life still goes on and you're allowed to form new relationships with people, meet new people, work with new people. So it's just about kind of, I think you just have to put yourself out there more. You have to put more effort into things. I think if you want something, you have to go chase it. And it does really count with friendships. You just got to really try. Boy I've been dating is pulling away after doing the deed. What do I do? Oh, you just leave him to it, mate. Leave him to it. If he's pulling away after doing the deed, he's obviously not that interested, or he is just, I don't know, wouldn't waste your time or energy trying to pursue that or chase that, because I'm a firm believer if something is meant to be, then it will be a mutual playing field. Like, you'll both be equally as into each other. That's the grounds for a healthy relationship or like start of something. So if he's pulling away, just let him go, mate. And it's not worth you feeling sad about it either. I think I don't get upset by stuff like that, because you just think what will be. And that is clearly what is supposed to be. He's not the one for me because he's pulling away, and that's out of my control. So I'll just let him go. And then you just think, right, cool. Is an emotional affair ever okay? I don't think an affair of any juncture is ever okay. I think you need to kind of identify exactly why you feel the need to have an affair. Whether you're lacking emotional support or a connection with your current partner, maybe that needs to be a conversation that you need to have rather than seeking it out elsewhere, because it's only going to end badly. It's not fair on anyone really. And there's kind of an element of living in denial, really. So no, I wouldn't say any kind of an affair is sort of all right. You might want to have some self-reflection and see what's going on a little bit and try and tackle it rather than causing any more pain or potential pain or any getting yourself into a deeper hole, I suppose. Want to change career path after 15 years. How do you take the plunge in going self-employed? Terrifying. Oh yeah, it is terrifying. But sometimes plunging into the pool of uncertainty will be the best thing that you can do for yourself, because you will end up coming to the surface and sailing away on your super yacht of dreams. Like I was previously saying, change is fucking scary and it's unsettling, and I don't think anybody is really comfortable with change. And there are so many versions of change that affect us. And I think that doing something that you're going to enjoy, that is going to make your like quality of life better, that you're passionate about, is in the long run going to benefit you. And I think when you're self-employed, it does enable this like superpower in you to be very resourceful and just make things happen and work. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, you can easily slip back into another job. Like, you've just got to think of worst case scenarios, and how you would deal with those worst case scenarios. But I would absolutely take the plunge and do it. Like, I've done it so many times, so many scary decisions, and I've just done it, and I just made it work for myself. Feeling stuck in my mid-20s, how do you balance who you are and who you want to be? I think your 20s is just that time to be cool and just explore yourself. And I don't think there doesn't need to be any kind of definitive answer as to who you are as a person. You can just explore all the different avenues, and it's a time to believe, it's a time to be adventurous, it's a time to be experimentative. And I definitely feel that you can set kind of goals for yourself, but I wouldn't make them too like restrictive. I wouldn't set them to a standard where you would feel failure if you didn't meet that, or you didn't become that person. A lot of people that watch me and follow me are, the demographic is 25 to 35, and I get a sense that a lot of the people in their mid to late 20s often suffer this kind of like identity crisis, like this life crisis. They don't know who they are, they've got no direction, they feel like they should have the house, the marriage, the kids, like they feel like they should be settled in themselves. And I would have to completely disagree. I think it's an amazing opportunity, an amazing time just to have that self-exploration and not think too much as to like, who am I? Why do I not know who I am right now? Why am I struggling with my identity? I think that the joy of being in your 20s is to not have that, just keep testing out new things. And to be honest, I'm not also saying that ends as soon as you hit 30 and that you then need to figure out who you are when you're 30. I think what the difference is when you're 30, and I tell this, like, all of my friendship group are like either in their 30s or just turning 30, and I always say to them, welcome to Club 30, the club where you don't give a fuck. I think that when you hit your 30s, you're just kind of at peace with whoever you are at the time, and you do give less fucks, and you just feel more settled in yourself. But that doesn't mean that you can't change. Like, I've had quite a radical change in terms of like myself the last 6 months, but also the previous 2 years. Like, when I turned 30, that is when I decided that I really wanted to harness and take control of like my mental health and get my ADHD diagnosis. Like, I decided that I wanted to just sort my shit out and feel like a better person. But I spent my 20s just being experimentative, just being crazy and wild and doing things. I made some, I did some things. I would never actually say I made any mistakes. Like, I don't have any regrets. Like, things happened in my 20s. Like, I got married, I got divorced. Like, I learned, like I went through challenging experiences, which made me learn and become the woman that I am today. And very kind of, I learned from a lot of my experiences. And I've done so much cool shit. I met some really fucking cool people. And I've taken those experiences and that knowledge into my 30s to help me become a more rounded person and the person that I want to be. But yeah, long-winded answer. I think just don't fucking think about it too much. Just take everything day by day and not feel like you have to like become a person and settle, and that is the person that you're going to be for the rest of your life. How to deal with extreme jealousy towards friends doing better than me. I want to be happy for them. I'm sorry if this comes out as rude, but I definitely think that jealousy stems from insecurity. So there are things obviously about your life that you're not completely content with. Therefore, when you see people doing better than you, or when you see people that do things or seemingly seem to be doing better or having a better time, that will make you feel shitty and jealous because you're not completely happy with yourself and what you have. I genuinely think that people that are content with themselves and their lives don't have bitterness or feelings of jealousy towards other people, and you will genuinely be happy for that, happy for them, and having a more like being at peace with yourself and your situation, and okay and content with your situation. Even if your situation, right, even if you aren't going on extravagant holidays, for example, Here's an example. Say if a friend of yours goes on holiday to the Maldives and they stay in the most amazing resort, but your holiday of the year is camping in the Cotswolds. For someone that is like content with life and happy, that is what they want to do, they'll be happy with camping in the Cotswolds because that's what they're about. That's what they enjoy. And they won't look at someone that's going to the Maldives and be jealous because they're happy with their decision. I don't think it's about... I think that you need to kind of just have a look at what's going on in your own life and ask yourself, why am I jealous? Oh God, this one breaks my heart. Recently broke up with my boyfriend and just want some coping methods because all I do is cry. Haha. You know what? You will cry. I cried. When me and my ex broke up, I cried. I wailed like a baby some days. I drove places and cried in the car, cried at traffic lights, cried in bed, cried over breakfast. Cried as I was walking into the gym, so walk straight out again. Let it all out. You won't cry forever. You know, get it out. Get it out your fucking system. Go on nice long walks, though. If it means you're crying on the walk, cry on the fucking walk. Keep yourself occupied and busy and be around nice people that make you feel good. But don't deny yourself of sadness or don't deny your feelings. Because sometimes you just need to cry. How do I break up with someone who's a good person, but it's just not working out? I think you just have to break up with them. It's so easy to cling on or stay in a situation because they're nice and you don't want to hurt their feelings. But who's benefiting from that? Nobody. And sometimes you've just got to rip off the Band-Aid, and sometimes you've just got to be honest. Transparency is the best thing in the world, and sometimes transparency hurts people's feelings. That's only temporary. You've got to kind of be realistic and put your feelings first in respects of like, you know, I don't think this is working, so I need to end this now, rather than you're really nice, I don't think it's working, so because you're really nice, I'm just going to continue in a situation that I don't particularly want to be in. So I think it's just worth having a conversation. Just be soft, just be firm but fair, and have some compassion when it comes to the conversation. Be very transparent, empathetic and nice about it, but generally get the message across that it's not working. Oh, okay, this one how do I stop missing my ex? I know he wasn't right for me, and in brackets, and is a dick, but I still get sad. It's going to happen. You're going to get sad. Breakups are not black and white. Breakups do not make sense sometimes. Some breakups I've been through, I've just kind of just got on with it. Like I didn't feel any sadness, really. I just got on with it. Just fine. But then other breakups, like every breakup for me has been different. My most recent breakup, it was the right decision. But I still miss my ex every now and then. Of course you're going to miss someone, because if you spend a lot of time with someone and then they just disappear from your life, there's going to be a void there. There's going to be an empty space in which they used to take up. And that's sad. And that's hard to get used to. But when you know someone isn't good for you and they're not nice to you, or they're not fulfilling, or they're not giving you what you need, that's the reality. And it's okay to miss someone that isn't good for you because of what they brought in other areas and how they filled an area, a part of your life. If someone's not good for you, they're not good for you, and you know that yourself. But never feel bad about missing someone, because, you know, I miss people all the time. I miss elements of exes. I miss parts of relationships, and I miss the person as well. Like, God, you can't just switch that off. I think you're just going to accept that you're going to miss them. You're going to miss them. You're going to miss bits of them. And even if you feel like you've stopped missing them, every now and then you might have a dream about them, which will then question whether you still have feelings for them, or you might miss them. Like, they're still a person at the end of the day that you had something with. So I just don't try to stop missing them, because that's unrealistic. Just accept that you're going to miss them, but you know that relationship wasn't right, and you're moving forward with your life. What do you think helps your ADHD the most? My boyfriend is struggling at the moment. Regular exercise makes me feel focused. Using my hyperfixation to my advantage and noticing when my energy levels are like peaking, that's when I will do things that are really creative or take a lot of energy up. And then when I'm feeling really like distracted and I can't focus on things and I just want to lay down and just let my brain fizzle over, I'll just let that. But yeah, exercise, understanding my moods, setting reminders all the fucking time for everything, making my calendar clear writing everything down, setting timers on my phone when I'm doing a task so I stay on task. That helps. But also communicating with people when I'm struggling with things. Also, like, I sometimes verbally say to myself, nope, this is you getting sidetracked, Helen. Stay on task, okay? I'm very in touch with myself and I know what I'm doing, so I have to have a word. It's like there's two of me sometimes. It's very strange. But also, I have been put on meds. I'm on atomoxetine. I'm on an 18 milligram dosage, and I think that they have actually been helping. Now I've upped my dosage, I do feel better. So that's also an option. How did you gain confidence with your food/gym lifestyle? I don't think I gained confidence because I was always confident at the gym and food. I think I just became more concise with it, or consistent with it, and actually had way more self-control. Like, I was like, this is what we want to do, so we're going to do it. We're not going to half-ass this. This is something that we want to do. Let's fucking go for it. The only way this is going to work is if you're fucking consistent with it. So that's what I did. And for the final question, how do you deal with living alone and enjoying your own company? I love it. I love living on my own. I love my own company. And I feel so peaceful with myself, which is completely a stark difference to like me 3-4 years ago. Like, I wasn't very good at being on my own. I wasn't very good at living alone. I didn't like the idea of existing on my own. And I thought that came from a place, I guess, of insecurity and worry, you know, the same kind of feelings that people get about where they are at in their 20s. Like, I didn't want to be someone that had no one when everybody that I knew had someone. They were married, they were having babies, and I didn't want to be that person that was just lonely and single and all sad, because I just saw so many negative connotations around being alone. Whereas I don't feel like that anymore. I don't feel like I need someone to make me feel full and fulfilled and complete, as it were. And I do not see any wrongness or sad or, you know, any shame in being alone or being single and not having a partner. I think it does help that I'm incredibly busy, or I keep myself incredibly busy. I'm always finding things to do. I'm always booking things up in my diary. But then I'm always very grateful for those moments of solitude and those evenings alone where I can just play video games or watch whatever fucking movie that I want to, or have a 2-hour-long bath with a bowl of gin. Do you know what I mean? I am quite good at entertaining myself as well, though, like, because I feel full of joy most of the time these days. I will just dance in the kitchen. I will mess around with the dogs. I will go walk out down the garden path and just look at all the plants. I'll go for a walk. I'll take myself out on an adventure. I think that it is just about finding things that bring you happiness and not expecting or not putting all the responsibility on somebody else to make you feel happy and alive and full. Find things that make you feel happy, that you're solely responsible for and that you can bring to the table and bring to you. I honestly feel like I don't want a relationship. I'm happily date people, get to know people, make new friends, etc. I don't want a proper relationship right now because I'm kind of just enjoying my own time and the things that I do. You know, also, it's not been that long since my breakup, really, but I just really enjoying this time for myself, which is really actually quite remarkable because it's just so different to how I used to be. I feel like I've come far. I just don't think there's any shame in being on your own. It's really empowering. I did have this conversation with my therapist yesterday as well, like when I was feeling low and spiraling and like, oh, I'm full of anxiety and dread and like worry. And I had this feeling of loneliness and like being in this chasm, as I were, of responsibility. And then I went, but I have flipped that on its head and actually seen it as an empowering thing that I do all these things and I'm on my own. That's fucking cool. I don't know. I think some people just like having a partner, like, oh, me and my partner. Like, they just want that life, like having a partner-filled life. You don't need that. You can just navigate life in the world just having friends or just spending time with people, spending time with yourself. You are your own best friend and your own lover. You can be all these things for yourself. There's no reason why you can't be. Anyway, that was my agony aunt vid. Very relationship based today. I hope you enjoyed my mic. I hope you enjoyed my live, my video format podcast. I'll see you guys soon. Farewell. Bye bye.